finances for houses and cars. The state-owned bank will be run by qualified professionals and not employees of political parties. The state-owned bank exists in other parts of the world and have played an important role in driving development. We want to make sure that we share the resources of our country. Britain has a long history of state-owned companies, which include banks playing a significant role in the economy. After the World War II, Britain's state-owned companies were given a task to revive the economy. Britain's state-owned banks after the World War II were instructed to mobilize the necessary resources and told that where to make investment. The Chinese government owns more than 20 banks at central, subnational, and municipal level. Amongst the banks include one of the biggest banks in the world, the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China. The ICBC has shares in Standard Bank, and what this means is that the proceeds of banking services here in South Africa end up benefiting the Chinese. They use this to drive development. They use their banks to fund massive infrastructure programs. They use their bank to fund massive industrial programs. One important aspect, the state-owned banks in China, is that they are listed in the security exchange, and very small portion of their shares are public traded. This is one aspect which South Africa should look into, the aspect of listing state-owned companies at the security exchanges. The state should have shares at the JSE, the company, and the list all state-owned companies. The listing of state-owned companies might add to their stabilization and prevent them from capture in the same way Eskom, Transnet, SAA, Dinel were captured. The success of Telkom is a reason enough on why listing should be considered as an option for state-owned companies. Telkom contributed more than 3 billion to the National Revenue Fund over the past financial year because it is governed properly. Listing of companies is not in the same as privatization. It can be and should be a mechanism of increasing the efficiency and profitability of the state-owned companies. The South African state should maximize and perfect the art of generating a non-tax revenue because the current tax structure and many instances of tax avoidance and evasion makes it impossible for the state to meet all its obligations without creating huge public debt. Many governments around the world own and control huge corporations which are listed, and South Africa should use the state-owned banks to excellently illustrate that the state has got capacity. Engine is owned by Malaysian government. It does business in many parts of the world. Fly Emirates is owned by a state. There are many other strategic assets owned by the state all over the world, and South Africa can learn from those. We therefore stand here as the EFF to give a clear view on why the state should take charge of the bank. Nationalization of banks is not a call for chaos. It's a call that is founded on principle and one which will add value to the lives of so many South Africans. I thank you.
Honorable Williams.